Donovan took his game to the next level. Let's get into this. Donovan Mitchell was drafted 13th overall in the 2017 NBA draft to the Utah Jazz. The reason why Donovan Mitchell didn't go higher in that year's draft, even though he was clearly very talented, was just due to the fact that in the NBA and at the next level, NBA scouts weren't sure what position this guy was able to play. Because in college and even now in the NBA, Donovan is more of a scoring guard more than a facilitating guard, and he's also only 6'1", so he was seen to be too short to play the shooting guard position, and he wasn't a great enough passer to be a point guard, so there was a little bit of a dilemma there. But of course the Utah Jazz ended up drafting Donovan, and he became an absolute steal for them. In Donovan's rookie season, he came out absolutely amazing. He averaged 20 points per game in his rookie season and also averaging 3.7 rebounds per game, as also 3.7 assists per game. To be that underrated as Donovan Mitchell was, to go all the way down at 13th overall when obviously he should have been at least a top 3 pick in that year's draft, you obviously have to have incredible work ethic. And that Donovan definitely had. You see each and every season this guy is working out tremendously hard every offseason, and even throughout the year he's still working extremely hard just to improve his game and get better at things that maybe he had weaknesses in, and also just improve his strengths as well. And due to the fact that Donovan was working on his game tremendously every season, you would see Donovan coming in each and every season a little bit better offensively and all around. You would see every season Donovan come in with an absolutely new move that would help him offensively be more efficient as well. After coming out so hot in his rookie season and already averaging over 20 points per game, the fact that Donovan Mitchell continued to work on his game so tirelessly really shows you the work ethic this guy really has. Because a lot of guys, it happened before, when they have such a great rookie season, they may underestimate the NBA just due to the fact that they were playing so well in their first ever season that they take their foot off the gas a little bit and slow down their work ethic. But with Donovan, obviously that's not the case. Let's pick apart Donovan's game point by point to really see why I think this guy is so special. So first, let's start off with Donovan's shooting ability. When Donovan first came into the NBA in his rookie season, he was shooting 34% from deep on 7 3-point attempts, which is actually pretty good, to be honest with you. The percentage is not great, of course, but the fact that he's shooting a decent 34% from deep on 7 attempts in his rookie season when he's not a pure sharpshooter in this league is pretty good. Now flashing forward to this season, Donovan is shooting an incredible 38% from deep, a little bit better than that, on 8.7 attempts per game. Now that's very good shooting for him. Now Donovan is obviously a very good 3-point shooter, and he's a very big threat to hit that 3-point shot off the dribble or even off catch and shoot. So the defender really needs to stay close and stay honest with him on the 3-point line, which opens up the rest of his game as well. And Donovan's 3-point shot isn't even his best shot in terms of his shooting ability. When he first came into the league, he was able to shoot his mid-range shot pretty effectively, and his 3-point shot was a little lacking behind that, but he was always a mid-range shooter and extended his range out to the 3-point line. Even though mid-range shots aren't used as much anymore in the NBA, I still do think they're very important and extremely effective. When you talk about moves you could do in the mid-range, first of all, they may leave you open in that mid-range spot, and now you could easily hit that shot. But on top of that, in terms of dribble pull-ups from that mid-range spot, that's a very effective move in my opinion, because now the defender is on their heels and off balance and not able to defend you as well as if you were on the 3-point line and not doing that dribble pull-up. So even though a lot of players in the NBA don't really shoot the mid-range shot as much anymore, I still do think it's a very effective shot. And Donovan shoots that mid-range shot very effectively, which is good to see. Now moving on to the next point, which is ball handling. Coming into the NBA, Donovan already came in with a pretty good NBA handle, but you could see each and every season he's really working on his handle, and now you could see his handle is definitely much better and much faster. You just see that improvement each and every season, which is exactly what you want to see. Donovan already in his young NBA career has a ton of ankle breakers, which really shows his twitchiness and his real NBA level handle. But besides the flashiness stuff, just like ankle breakers, he also uses that NBA handle to get to his spots offensively and really get open shots as well. Donovan uses those handles very effectively to get open shots from 3-point range, get to the mid-range spot and get an open shot there, and also use those handles to get by his defender and get to the basket to finish well. Donovan definitely has very elite handles, and he uses them very effectively to get his shot. Now moving on to the next point, let's talk about Donovan's finishing ability. So once again, coming into the NBA, Donovan was known more of a mid-range shooter and a guy guy who gets to the basket and finishes around the basket. But obviously, as I said, as his NBA career progressed, he really extended his range out to that three-point shot. But he still has that ability to get to the basket and finish very effectively around the basket. He's still more of a slasher more than anything. When you watch Donovan Mitchell out there, you can clearly tell this guy is insanely athletic when he goes to the basket. When Donovan gets to the basket, he either A, as I just mentioned, he can dunk over people with that insane athleticism, or he also has very good finishing ability where he also uses his athleticism to get layups around bigger defenders. And I really do think that's an underrated part of Donovan's game, because of course when you watch him out there, he is going to get posterizing dunks a ton in this league. But one thing that you don't necessarily appreciate as much is the fact that this guy also uses his athleticism to finish and contort in the air around bigger defenders, which is pretty incredible as well. He definitely has a very great finishing ability in terms of his layup ability as well. Donovan Mitchell clearly has a very elite ability to get to the basket and finish around the basket when he gets there. But moving on to another point of Donovan Mitchell's game, let's move on to his passing and playmaking ability. So as I mentioned before in the video, Donovan Mitchell coming into the NBA wasn't really known as a passer or a playmaker in the league, and that was the reason why he dropped down to the 13th overall pick, because he was obviously clearly a very great scorer in this league, but the fact that he was at that 6'1" size, which is very short for a shooting guard, and wasn't able to pass as well as a typical point guard would, it was a little bit of an issue. But looking to see how Donovan progressed throughout the years, coming into the NBA, he was averaging a pretty low 3.7 assists per game, but now fast forwarding to this season, he's averaging an okay 5.2 assists per game. Obviously, that's not great for a starting point guard, but what the Utah Jazz did very well is bring in a guy like Mike Conley to really run the offense and run Donovan at that shooting guard position where I think fits him way better. And now when you talk about Donovan averaging a pretty good 5.2 assists per game for that shooting guard position, that's obviously well above average. Of course, going forward, I would like to see Donovan really improve his passing and playmaking game, because even though he's technically playing the shooting guard position, he really has the ball in his hands most of the time for them. And if he really continues to improve on that like he has been, that really just helps him and his teammates open up the defense even more. But either way, you could definitely see over the years Donovan has significantly improved his passing and playmaking ability, which is very good to see for him. When you look at each aspect of Donovan Mitchell's game, you can tell that in every aspect Donovan Mitchell has improved his game. In terms of his shooting ability, he didn't come into the NBA as an amazing shooter, he was just an okay shooter, and now he really improved that. When you talk about his finishing ability, he came into the NBA already very good at finishing and getting to the basket, but as the years progressed, he just improved that ability. And when you talk about his passing and playmaking ability, he didn't come in as a good passer or playmaker, but now he just improved that, and now he's a pretty decent passing and playmaker type guy. In every aspect of his game, he improved. And not to mention his defensive ability, because even coming into the NBA, he was already a very above average defender, and he continued to improve on that as well. When you compare this season to Donovan Mitchell's rookie season, you clearly see improvement in every aspect of his game, and of course Donovan is extremely talented. He wouldn't get to the point where he's at if he wasn't talented, but what I think this really speaks to more than anything else is this guy's work ethic. You can't continuously get better in every aspect of your game like Donovan has unless you have extreme work ethic, and of course Donovan does. But let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you think Donovan Mitchell really improves his game and will continue to improve going forward, or do you think Donovan Mitchell isn't as good as I think he is and he's not really going to improve that much going forward? But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did enjoy, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps me out a lot. Until the next time, peace out guys.